Welcome everybody to Internal Aqueous V1.0 with Erfan. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. And in this webinar, you'll be looking at generating fluid and consistent AI interiors, and then how to model some of those forms using Cinema 4D. Um, and today's webinar is taught by Erfan, who is an Iranian architectural designer, 3D artist, and Unreal Engine developer, specializing in futuristic environments, metaverse architecture, and experimental form making. With a strong background in AI-driven concept design, parametric modeling, and immersive visualization, he merges technology and narrative to craft bold spatial experiences. As an instructor at the Parametric Architecture Academy and a contributor to international projects, Erfan is at the forefront of redefining digital design workflows through tools like Cinema 4D, Midjourney, and Unreal Engine. So I'm going to now pass it over to Erfan. But before Erfan starts, just a reminder that this webinar is being recorded. So if you feel like you can't keep up or um, uh, the pace is not right for you live, just a reminder you can always go back and watch this recording. Um, and if you're chatting in the chat area, make sure you switch the chat to everybody so that we can all see your chats. So let's hand it over.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Erfan Habibpour, and it's really nice to be here. Today, we're going to be trying to do some stuff with Midjourney, creating some really good interiors with AI, trying to guide the AI in the right way in order to, get the good results out of it. And then we're going to be trying to model some of these examples in Cinema 4D. But first, of course, we're going to learn some of the basic tools of the Cinema 4D, but it's not going to be boring, I promise. I'm going to be a bit fast in Cinema 4D, and we won't be actually using so many, complicated tools or, gadgets in Cinema 4D, so it's going to be quite good for you to follow up. But if you can't follow up, of course, you can ask questions or maybe save the video later. Of course, the video is being recorded. You can watch it later. But I'll try to keep the pace just moderate. Thank you. So right now I'm presenting my screen. All right. So let's go ahead. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to introduce some fluid interior design concepts to you and how they inspired me to achieve them, how to create them in Midjourney or AI, any tools of AI, but Midjourney is the best tool for them. And then we're going to be working on curating and interpreting AI outputs and 3D modeling fluid forms with Cinema 4D, form translation techniques in Cinema 4D, how to imagine your form in Cinema without, trying so hard or using complicated tools. And then we're gonna try to do a design sketch in 3D space, and then we'll be creating interior variations from one concept as we build mood boards for Midjourney. And then the design strategy is going to be form fiction to function. So it's going to be like first form, and then you'll learn how to make it more functional, add more details, and make it usable in the real space, because mostly AI generated images are not complete. And especially if you're building them from scratch by only prompts or image prompts or other images, and not 3D modeling, of course, you have to kind of transfer them into something usable in real space, depending on your client, depending on the space that you're working on in architecture or any other field that you're working. And then at the end, I'll be trying to, use some Corona render engine in order to render a raw image of the model that we're making. and then I'm gonna be using that render, the output, that simple output with the lighting, and I'm gonna be retexturing it with Midjourney. So the tools that we're gonna be using is Cinema 4D R25 or higher, Corner Render, Midjourney subscription, of course, you're gonna need it, and then some Chat GPT for a bit, some simple prompting techniques. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you a few of the inspiration behind the internal variations that you saw from my Instagram page or the images that you saw that are being published in the workshop page, the webinar page, and so these are some of the original images that actually inspired me to implement them into the real space. So how it started is that I was really inspired by Zaha Hadid and those curved designs and those fluid forms that they created in the company, and it was actually very interesting to me. And I thought maybe we can use those interior fluid forms in other spaces, like in houses, in apartments, in residential complexes, or maybe hotels, or maybe lobbies. Of course, these spaces most belong to, as you can see it here, I believe this is a cultural center in Saudi Arabia, and this one is actually a cultural center, another cultural center in Azerbaijan, in Baku. This is obviously an airport, and these are also belonging to the same cultural center in Baku, Heydar Aliyev Center. And as you can understand, these are being used in large areas and spaces, so local areas. I thought maybe I can turn them into kind of get inspired by them and turn them into some usable spaces in architecture for people to use that, use the style in their houses. So about the Midjourney and prompting and mood boards, I want you to understand that Midjourney is not enough, obviously. I don't know how many of you guys have worked with Midjourney before, but you can understand that Midjourney isn't enough only. So you have to guide the Midjourney in the right direction, give it the right prompts, give it the right images in order to, you know, get the good results that you want. So it's not just prompting and, telling Midjourney to imagine things. Well, of course, I've got a few questions. First of all, have you any of you guys are already using Midjourney? I want to know whether you have been experimenting with it or not. Of course, most of you guys are using it already, I know, but I want to know how much of you guys are using it. So if you're using it, just write me in the chat. Okay, so many experiments. All right, I've tried just a few times. Yes, for concept exploration. All right. Okay, that's very nice. I'm glad that you've been familiar with Midjourney, and that's good news. So today, you're gonna know that most of the results that you're getting out of Midjourney belongs to the Midjourney's large category of images that the developers use to train this AI model. Okay, this is an AI model, and they've tried to kind of train it in all directions, and I believe they gave it a large amount of images. This is a very professional, category and topic, but let's say that they have given Midjourney a large amount of images from the internet, from everywhere that human made, okay? And they trained it. So if I open Midjourney right now, all right, if I open Midjourney here and try to do some things here, let's change the screen. All right, I assume you can see my screen already. So this is what we get, almost what we get with Midjourney. Let's let's imagine a few things. First of all, I'm just gonna type in let's set this the standard and portrait aesthetics maybe 350. So in the create tab, let's go ahead and create some variations. Let's make a draft in order to get faster. I used draft mode in order to be much faster and sketch AI variations, and then if I'm good with one of the variations, I try to enhance it and upscale it later on. So it's taking less time in relax mode. Obviously, I've also finished my fast hours somehow, but we're gonna keep that up, no worry. So let's type a few things here. Let's type a very minimal short prompt for the start. So I'm gonna start with simple minimal living room concept with furniture, large window, and let's hit enter. And the style is on raw. Let's just make it standard. It depends on you which one that you're using. So you're gonna see that what's Midjourney is generating. So I'm just gonna go to my organize tab and show you a few of the prompts that I've generated for the class. Okay, so let's show you the images I've got for the class as an introduction as well. So these are some of the variations that I created for this webinar. I was focusing on living rooms and kitchens as curved ceilings and fluid forms that I was trying to achieve before, and I tried to replicate that style into these images and into these cases. So I've built a few concepts with some simple prompts. It's not always about the prompt. Your prompts don't have to be very long and detailed. Sometimes, yes, of course, when we're working on something very professional and we're going to push the limits of AI to the end, of course, we can use different prompting, detailed prompts. But I believe it's not about the prompt. It's about the direction that you give AI to, keep your way. So this is the first image, and these are some variations that I'm going to show you. These are some kitchens and let's say living rooms, or maybe it could be also a cafe design. This is also another one. This one is very important because we're going to be modeling this one in Cinema 4D today. So have a look. And we've got this one. This is like a mix of living room space mixed with a small kitchen right on the left corner, and we have a curved fluid ceiling on here on the left side, and you can see the spaces are matching, and we have an island here in the middle. We have another one in the here, and continuing like this. I'm gonna be giving you these files for practicing and training. Don't worry about that. After the webinar, I'm gonna upload everything, and I'll give you the link for all the files that we have in the webinar. This one's my favorite one actually. It's a bit also complicated to model. I was trying to model this one for the webinar, but it took me a lot of time to prepare this one, so I switched to the other. This one's also nice. And it goes on like this, okay? And I can tell you all of these images has been generated with only one prompt. Thank you so much. So you don't have to kind of go complicated and write different prompts for each of these concepts or remix or do anything complicated. So this is it. If you have a look at the raw prompt that we gave Midjourney, simple minimal living room concept with furniture, large window. So it tried to keep up with the prompt, of course, and it generated some normal stuff. So you can see these are not what we're aiming for. Of course, these images are beautiful. Maybe you're aiming for them sometimes, but in order to design something better, design something with the specific style that you have in your mind, you have to be very specific. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add more words to my prompt to see how it works. Let's add in style of Zaha Hadid. All right. Let's add another one. All right. So what's wrong? Okay, something went wrong. Oh, okay. Sometimes it happens with Midjourney. Sometimes it bugs. I believe. In style of I don't know. Let's say let's make the architects. In style of fluid design. So it's generating the images right now, and you're gonna be seeing that how the a few words can change the image that we're trying to generate and how the things working out. And this is like the rawest model that we're working in right now. The like it's very raw. Midjourney is very raw. We haven't put in anything in the Midjourney right here. So it's like you just purchased a subscription from Midjourney and opened it up, and this is what you're going to be seeing with these prompts. Of course, the images are looking very good. Midjourney is always trying to make astonishing images, but it's not going to give you something out of the box. You can see here, because of the word Zaha Hadid, it tries to keep up with what it's been told to, but this is not obviously what we're aiming to. So if I like go ahead and remix it, let's say glossy white surfaces, white materials. By the way, I don't try to explain Midjourney as it's a human being. It's a robot, obviously, and it only cares about the words. It doesn't care about what you're telling, what you're explaining, like design me not like this. You shouldn't tell Midjourney something like this. Design a living room like it's been designed by Zaha Hadid. Do this, do that, try to, you know, this is not my prompting style, obviously. I put sometimes I put like many words together. They're not even, what I mean, but random words besides each other and try to combine those words and something good comes out and then I'm satisfied with it. So I don't have to, the prompt doesn't have to be very logical and grammatically even correct. So if you even have some wrong words in your prompt, but if it's doing your job, then you shouldn't touch it. Then it's good because it's a robot and it's understood. It's understood your concept, then it's all right. You have to let it go. So this is a bit closer to what we have, but not quite like what we want to achieve. So I'm just gonna go for something else. Go for simple minimal living room. Okay, room, kitchen. Let's add kitchen as well with island. With furniture, large window in style of Zaha Hadid, glossy white surface, white materials. All right, let's hit it. Let's see what happens. And let's do one more with more stylization. Let's see what happens with that. Of course, if you increase the stylization, it might actually go a bit crazy and generate some relevant images for you. But it's good sometimes to go for more stylization, and depending on your prompt and depending on the concept that you're working, the results that Midjourney gave you, you see a few results, you can actually decide how much stylization you can go for. For instance, if you want to go for something realistic, I believe you have to keep it under 150. But if you want some more variations with like creative stuff, you can go for up to, I don't know, 500 and all that. So this is it. This has generated some stuff for us, but still you can see that these images are normal results, and the internet, obviously Instagram, is full of these results. And it's of course, if it was before AI and this technological revolution, the images were actually great. So if it's AI that's pushing the limits of image generation, concept development, so you don't have to rely on normal results. I consider these images as normal results, and I don't even like them because they look very quiche to me, and somehow they're not standing out. They're not out of the box. You can see these images all around Pinterest, all around Instagram, and you can see people sharing these images and again and again and again. So this is like repetitive, and we don't want to do that. We want to achieve something unique. So what I suggest you to do a bit more guided prompting by sometimes just dragging your image into Midjourney and use the scribe. If you're aiming for something, an image, an architecture project that you want to work on, maybe something that you liked from that image, just try to use the scribe. Don't be afraid of it. And to see how Midjourney actually interprets that image into the prompt and how it actually understands it. So what we have here, um, let's say the first prompt, in the lobby of the hotel, the coffee bar counter is made of white marble and black wood with a curved shape designed in the style of Zaha Hadid. Of course, it's gonna write Zaha Hadid featuring curved lines and light strips on the walls, a white ceiling, a large floor to ceiling windows, marble flooring, conveying a sense of luxury and high-end feel. The space is wide open with a minimalist design, symmetrical composition, and soft lighting, high-resolution photographs. Okay, let's generate this one. Let's see how it's gonna end. Let's generate this one as well. This one and this one. These are actually very long prompts. I wouldn't actually rely on long prompts to achieve these images. But let's go ahead and let's do it. Let's see what happens. So the second prompt is like the same. A hotel lobby designed in the style of Zaha Hadid, featuring abstract shape and a white marble counter with black accents. The interior is bathed in soft light from the large windows on the right side of the room. A coffee bar stands against one wall. This sense captures a sense of luxury architecture with its modern design elements and minimalist aesthetics. So you can see the results are much better since we used the image prompting. All right, we didn't actually use image prompting, but we used Midjourney's describe feature in order to have a better prompt. But obviously, these prompts are very long to use. I wouldn't actually use them because it gets it more complicated when you go further and when you want to kind of be consistent with your style with Midjourney. I wouldn't go for longer prompts, but these are a bit close to what we had, all right, because of the more explanations and the more precision in the prompt. But it's still, you can see it lacks something. It lacks a bit more, I don't know, design language. These are a bit more normal. So for achieve something really good and to go fully fluid, we have to go all the way up. So let's say that this one is good. Let's enhance this one. And what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be working with the image prompting after this. And you're gonna see how much different it is than just using simple words. And I'm gonna be using the same prompt as we used in here, so you can see the difference between them. All right, we have an enhanced variation. See, it's a bit better than what we had. But this time, what I'm going to do, let's say I'm trying to achieve something unique. I'm not trying to copy myself here because I don't want you to just go ahead and feed my work into Midjourney or any other artist's work to Midjourney and create prompts out of them and create similar results, right? I want you to craft your own style. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I want to teach you in this webinar. So it's not about just achieving what I have achieved, because I know something that I like, you might not really like that. So we have different personalities and we have different tastes. So I'm trying to teach you how to kind of craft a style for yourself in Midjourney, which was actually most of the times is impossible doing that without AI. So let's say I have this image and I like this variation. I'm just going to drag it into image prompt. All right. And I have this image right here, which I have generated before. I'm going to drag that to the image prompt as well. And since these two images kind of have the same feeling of the kitchen and the living room, it's an interior space, they are kind of relevant, fully relevant. I'm going to use the same prompt that we used before. Simple, minimal living room kitchen with island, furniture, large window in style of Zahedi. Okay, let's remove Zahedi. I most of the times I try not to use Zahedi because it goes very curvy and it uses very um, irrational forms to achieve something it's been told to. It thinks that when we mention Zaha Hadid or architecture, it has to be using some crazy stuff. So we're gonna ignore that. And then, yeah, this is a prompt. We got the both images. Let's hit enter. And of course, this is too much stylization. I'm gonna go with something less than. 150. Taking a look at the other results. This one's actually good, not that bad, but you wouldn't want to model this actually. And this one's also good, but you can see we don't have the precise details on the ceiling, and they're mixed a bit, and they don't look logical here. So I don't really like that. So I like very precise curves with clean round shapes and lines. So you have to see those outlines in your work and not just like painted stuff in your images. Okay, this is much better, in my opinion. These are much better. It's it's using different parts of the images that we had. It's using this kind of curve on the counter here for the kitchen, and it's also using like these kind of white curves in the image, so it's a bit good. Also the furniture around the corner and the windows and the white style that we had in the image. So I'm just going to create a few variations out of these. Wow, that's good. We have fast generations, so let's switch to fast generations, and we can move faster. Well, what is the stylization option? Let's try. Let's try and see what is that. Let's imagine a chair. It's gonna create a chair with like zero stylization. Like if you put 100 stylization, it's not going to mention that here. So it's almost like zero stylization. We're not putting that amount of style in the image. But if we use another chair prompt, and if we go for up to 1,000 stylization, you can see how much different it's going to make. And by the way, we're not using any personalization or mood boards. Let it generate, and we'll see. Obviously, we have like different chairs here with different styles. Like these are like looking like paintings, and just normal. But here you can see the colors are more variant. The colors are more vibrant, and it's the image is a bit more exaggerated here. You can see, if you want to understand this stylize option, if I use one of these images, let's say that we've generated as a style reference, okay, it's going to use the same colors and same lighting for this new chair that we're trying to imagine. And if I put the stylize on 0, if I put on 0, you can see, you know, it's a bit different. And if we go for all the way up to 1,000 using the same style reference, it's going to try more to make that chair, get that chair much more close to that style image that we give it. Like for instance, let's use something like very colorful. I don't know, let's see. Let me just use something very colorful, right? Just want to give you a better understanding of what's it trying to do. it's using the same color palette as this image here that we generated. So if you turn on the stylization and if you go all the way up, it's going to make it more close to that image. So this was like a 0 stylization, and let's see, 50, actually it was 50. And when we put 1,000, a chair, a normal chair, these are like simple basic prompts that we give it. Let's see how much it's going to do. And if I go for another colorful image, like this is the image that I'm going to put on, and if I go for chair, full stylization, see, this is the see the difference. So here, it's using some normal chair in order to achieve that, you know, a bit close to the style reference image we had. But when I go for all the way up to 1,000, it adds a bit more of itself while trying to use this image that we feed it to. It's getting close to the image, like here. It tried to imitate these curves and these fluid shapes on the chair itself. So it tried to break the concept of the chair instead of just making the colors match. So that's the meaning of the stylize. It can vary in different ways. So you can see these are some normal chairs that it generated, but here the chairs are looking more classy. They look more exaggerated, and it even tried to construct something futuristic out of that 1,000 value that we put on. Like if I re-roll this normal prompt that we put on it with 50 stylization, it's going to produce just the same number, just the same concept. It's not going to break the concept of the chair. So it's going to just generate some standard normal chairs that we see everywhere. But on the other side, as you can see, I tried another image with 1,000 stylization with this image as a style reference. You can see it generated just like the image that we had. So this is all, these are all 50. These are all on 50 value. And let's re-roll the one with the 1,000 value. Okay, this one. So we have the same style reference, same prompt, same word, and here we also had the same stuff, but with a different number. But here we have the stylize on 1,000. Let's see what's the difference. You see, this is more exaggerated and this is not normal. So if you want to focus more on design of the object and you want to kind of exaggerate it, you can go for large numbers. The best, I believe, for architecture styles and the work that you're trying to do, it depends on what you're actually doing. So let's say you're generating an interior bedroom, all right? Let's see that what we have. We have a concept of interior bedroom, and if you want to go for something usual and normal, and the prompt is good, the results is good. Let's say with number 100, okay? Let's say your stylization number on 100, and you're satisfied with the results, okay? You shouldn't touch it. It depends on your project, on what you're working on. But if you're trying to achieve something better, achieve something exceptional, and kind of force Midjourney to generate you something exceptional and something different out of the box, you have to increase this number. So if you're going for realistic styles, so something usual, if your image prompt is good, the result it's giving you is making you satisfied with it, all right, then that's good. you should stick with that number, something less. But if you're getting some boring images and the images are not standing out, you have to increase the stylization. And if you want to get more close to the style image that you have given to the Midjourney. So it depends on the project, but I mostly use something around like 50 to 300 and 250, just like this. I don't go all the way up. I don't even go for 500. This is the range that I work on most of the times, and I never use weirdness. I never use variety. I never use these because if I increase this variety with this same prompt and same image, let's do another one with weirdness. You can tell what's gonna happen. I mean, we've given it a style here, a style image. Of course, it's going to be more controlled, much more controlled than what we have in normal prompts. But you know, it might go crazy and generate some other stuff. Although these images are also looking good, in my opinion. Not bad, but you know, this is a preference, and I don't like to use chaos or variety in the prompt generations. Let's use a chair without the style, and let's stick with the increased weirdness and variety. So you can see this is not relevant to the style image. It's weird, of course, and these are not following up our reference. This is being getting out of control. So maybe you want to go for something crazy, you should go with that number. And if you're good with the realistic style and if you want to go logical, like see, we increase the weirdness and chaos. It's giving us irrelevant results, not consistent. And this is not, see these results, they are close to each other. They're somehow consistent, somehow, okay? In terms of composition, colors, and you know, the shape of the chair, they're close to each other somehow. But here you can see none of these images are related to each other. Nothing. Okay? So in architecture, if you're working with interior space, even exterior spaces, in all fields of architecture, I believe you shouldn't use these. So let's stick to 0. Let's go back to our kitchen design. So after we generated the images with some references and image prompts, these are the results that we get. These are actually good, you know. The only thing that I don't really like about them is that they're not sharp enough, in my opinion. They're not sharp enough. The colors are not matching. The colors are looking dull and pale. It's just white and great, and we don't have something special in them. And what we want to do, we want to keep up with this style while maintaining the shapes and the consistency and add a bit more spice to the design. So what Midjourney has been doing that they've introduced mood boards. Okay, of course these are good results and we like them, but we want to go with a bit more. We want to go a bit more exaggerated towards the design philosophy that we have in our mind. So what I'm gonna do, all right. So you see this panel here. We have the personalized tab. If you push this button, I have like many of these mood boards that I have generated. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to do when you get Midjourney, uh, get the subscription, maybe you already have it or haven't done it already, I want you to go to tasks and try to rank style images, rank images, any image that you see here. Just try to come over here and try to, you know, stylize your Midjourney. You're kind of personalizing it, you're customizing your Midjourney depending on your taste. So these are style and rank style images, rank grids, rank videos, and rank image aesthetics. Rank image aesthetics, I believe this one is actually the best one. I've already ranked about 300 more ranking. So what you have to do, you have to go ahead and rank the images. I mostly skip all the images, and until I find some architecture space image that I really like and it's looking pleasing to my eye, I go for that. I choose that, and it's actually saving that in Midjourney's global profile. So whenever you're trying to generate an image with your global profile, it will try to match your own taste while using the information that you're giving it to. Like, let's skip a few images and find something good out of these. Like, I like this image here. I like this image, like I like the symmetry, but this one's looking more pleasing to my eye. So after ranking a bit more images, Midjourney will realize that which images you actually like, and which of them it should use while you're using your prompt. Like, I like this one, I like this one, maybe this one. Just go ahead and do this. It's really easy. You just have to sit for like an hour to do it. I like that image, and just like this. Just do this. I believe the more you do it, the more better results you're gonna get out of it. But the most important part is that when you prompt something in Midjourney and something good pops out, you have to choose this one here to help us improve V7. All right, it's actually adding up to your uh, global profile here, global V7 profile. So whatever that you're liking, it's going to add to this global V7 profile. And I believe this is the most important profile that you have within your mood boards. These mood boards are limited, but when you want to achieve something creative, Midjourney will refer to your global V7 profile, or I don't know which version that is going to be in the future. You have to rate more images, so it's going to save your taste in that global V7 profile, and then it's going to use the style to match what you want, and you're going to like those images much better than just usual general results that it's going to provide you. So let's say I like this image, I use shortcut number 1. I like this one, or you can just go ahead and click on here. So whenever you see something that is good out of the box, and you have generated something good that you're satisfied with the results, please do this. And if you don't like it, if you want to kind of escape that way, is the if you want to prevent Midjourney to generate similar results, just put on the I don't like this image, just like this. All right. So let's say that we're gonna use the same prompt that we had with my global profile, global V7 profile. You can see personalization is turned on. I turned it on, and it's on global V7 profile. I don't have any mood boards selected, so I'm just gonna go with the same mood board. And one other tip that you have to mention is that you have to remember is that if you want to get more close to what you have in your mood boards or your global profile, increase the stylization. So let's say we go for 400. See, this is matching my taste actually. I've liked many images with the same color palette, and these are the images that are being generated with only turning on the global profile. So this is without the global profile here. Without the global profile, you can see the difference. You have the stylized 350, and here we are. We have the global profile with the stylized 50, and we have more than 350. We have 400 stylization number value. So you can see how it's making a difference. But this is not enough. This is not what we're going to be working with, of course. Um, you have to use V7 global profile or any global profile that you have when you want to build something different. So, for instance, I'm going to teach you how to build your own mood boards depending on what you like and what you want to generate. And then I'm going to tell you when to use both, when to use only your mood board, and you're going to learn how to do it. And it's a very good and great way to achieve great, astonishing results with Midjourney. All right. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to use mood boards to build a visual language. So we can just go ahead to your mood boards tab. And then here, I have a bunch of mood boards for different type of projects that I do. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new mood board here. All right. I'm just going to call it design morphine. All right. Make sure you name your mood boards in order to recognize them better. And then what I want to do, I actually want to show you a file of images that I have downloaded randomly from Pinterest. So I'm just going to share part of my screen. Right, let's see how to do it. Right, let's share the whole screen. Can you guys see the whole screen right now? I think you can see it. Yeah, it's a wide monitor, so it can be a bit thinner in your case, but that's okay. So this is the file that I'm also going to give it to you, but of course you have to mention if you're going to use the same mood board or same references in your work or in your projects. So whoever that it belongs, you have to mention that. I believe that's the right way to do it, to mention the artist that you're using the style for, but make sure to not replicate their creations directly. Make sure to mix something from yourself and not just completely use their work. I believe this is the right way to do it. And just use the images to get inspired, not to copy. You know what I'm saying? So these are the images that I'm going to use to build a mood board. So these are some random images I find very attractive on Pinterest. You can see most of these work belong to Zaha Hadid. We have like different interior spaces. We have the stairs. We have some good pattern on the wall. We have an exterior space that I really liked, the curve. We also have this type of fluid form for interior, and the same. This is like a pattern that I really like. I don't know who it belongs to. I found it randomly, but this is like a very good pattern I like. And sometimes I use this pattern to kind of replicate some parametric details on my walls or my surfaces, maybe ceilings. This is also another interior example. This is an amphitheater. This is also another 3D printed pattern. And just like this, you can see the mood board contains images of relevant stuff. Okay, we don't have like exteriors, we don't have skyscrapers, we don't have, I don't know, cars or different stuff in the mood board. We have relevant images of a specific type of spaces. All right, let's say we have interior space and we're working with interiors, so we have to gather images from interiors that we like to kind of get inspired by them, to tell Midjourney this is the style I like, mix it with my own global profile, and then generate the image. That's it. So what I have to do, I have to kind of select some of these images that I really like. Or maybe this one and that one. I'm gonna upload them here into my mood board, and then I can go back to share only the Google Chrome. All right. So the images are already uploaded. Sorry. You have something? All right, thank you. So the thing here, while you're generating mood boards, is that you have to use high quality images. You shouldn't use very small images like with less resolution and low quality, because Midjourney will also imitate the quality of the images that you have uploaded to the mood board. So make sure to use high resolution images. Of course, some of the images that you like, you might not find them on the internet as high resolution images, but try to use at least images that actually fill up a bit of your screen instead of just being very small on the other hand. You know what I'm saying? And also these images are not very high resolution in my opinion. They're not also very good, but since we're just testing and this is not uh, for a project or a final output, we can go ahead and do that. So what I have here, I have my mood board here, design morphine, okay? And I've got my global 7 profile. So these are belonging to my global profile. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to also select this design morphine here. And we're basically trying to mix up two mood boards with each other. And I'm gonna write it the same prompt. But let's see how it's gonna come out. One with 400 and one with 250. You can see it's tried to mix up two of these mood boards with each other. Two of them. You can see it clearly that it's doing much better than this, much better than my V7 profile. So it's using the same color palette from my V7 profile, and then it's using those curves from the mood board that I added. So what you have to do, you have to be patient, and what you like, you have to kind of generate more variations from that. Like I like this one, so I'm just gonna add more variations. And the best way to actually achieve the great results out of any type of I believe you have to continue a project that you have started. So if you like one image, just don't skip that, don't ignore that. If it's even if it's not completely perfect in your opinion, go ahead and try to make more variations out of that and try to kind of follow up that design language, that image trying that is trying to offer. After a few variations, a few rerolls, I believe you're going to be able to achieve something that is meeting your taste. So you can see this is much better. So let's generate more variations out of that. This is also looking good. Let's see what it comes out. So we're trying to get some better results out of the box already. We're getting some exceptional forms on our interior spaces. I've got some fluid forms, and they're looking pretty well in my opinion. We've got LED lights behind them. It's trying to follow up with what we're trying to achieve. These are also good, so I'm just gonna make more variations out of this, out of this. But let's say I just want to change the colors and kind of add a bit more style to this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and use Remix Strong, and I want to add one of the images that I have generated before as a style reference. So this is the image that I want to kind of implement the colors into the same space and same composition. Of course, it's going to change the composition in many ways, but let's see what happens. I want to use these colors. Let's wait until it uploads. All right, it's uploaded. And you can see how much good results that we're getting with the least amount of effort, least amount of prompting. This is like the most beginner friendly prompt that I wrote, and out of that prompt we're getting these results, and this is very good, I believe. And since I have added this image into the style section, let's also remix this one. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna use that as a remix, and again I'm gonna remix it strong, but this time I'm going to increase this stylize. Because I want to get more close to my style reference and my mood board, I'm gonna go for 800. This is not the usual number I go for, but you know, let's do it. See, we're already getting close to what we have. So this is like one of the last results that we have, and this is the first results. See the difference? That's how you have to kind of guide your mood board. And by the way, mood boards don't actually get limited by only the images out of Midjourney, out of the AI itself. So whatever you like that you stumble upon, so you're generating some random images and you like something very good from that, you can just go ahead and select add from gallery, and you know it's going to go to your organization tab, and you can just select that image from that specific part of your generations, and it's going to add it to your mood board. So I believe this is the best way to do it. Generate mood boards out of your generated Midjourney images. So it's not like always using the images from external sources. So I have like different mood boards here. Let's see one of them. So these images that you see that I have created this simple mood board with my own creations from interior variations. These are all Midjourney. These are not belonging to someone else. Of course, these are inspired by different artists and different styles, but these are all original. and these are all my Midjourney creations. So this is like step by step. If you build a mood board at the beginning, you generate more good and better images with that mood board, and then based on those good images you make another mood board and try to improve the results like that. So this is a path. See, we're already getting close to what we had. So that was like the magic trick of what we're trying to do. So you saw the mood board here, this one, test 2. I'm gonna go with same style reference and same mood boards, and which was that, test 2. I'm gonna go with test 2. I'm trying to mix up two of these mood boards with my global V7 profile. Let's go ahead and create that. You can see I'm not even trying to touch the prompt. And if I want to build something else uh, out of these, I can just type another simple prompt and the results will be matching my taste, I believe. So if I type in, for example, curved ceiling, interior bedroom concept, curved ceiling. Of course, this is because since this is uh, the first prompt that we gave it to, it's going to give us some cubic results. But after a few variations and after tweaking a bit of your prompt, it's going to give you much better results. See, out of the box, we already have something good. What did I do? Interior bedroom concept, curved ceiling. This is what we get. And these are all exceptional. These are all fluid form. These are all creative, and you could achieve these with the least amount of work. It's possible to change only the color of the furniture in one image that you liked. Well, that depends. Let's say if you want to change the color of furniture here, you have to go to Edit tab, just like this. And in the Edit tab, you can highlight the furniture, okay, and try to type in your prompt. You have to type in, let's say, red sofa. This is not guaranteed. Midjourney is not that much controllable at this stage right now, but if you try a bit more, if you work on it, you can actually achieve that. So I have highlighted this part of the image, which was a sofa, and I've changed it to red sofa prompt. And right now, the best way to do that is to put an image of a red sofa in the image prompt. So it's going to implement that red sofa as the image prompt, and it's going to edit this section of the picture, and it's going to change the color of the furniture. But let's go for with only the prompt and see what happens. So these are the results of that particular prompt that we gave it. And of course, you can see that it's changed the color of the sofa, luckily. So it's possible like that. I hope that answers your question very good. And let's do another one. Let's do another one before we take a 10-minute break. I'm gonna type in another one, and I'll go with, let's say, large hotel lobby with drinks and large chandelier, black chair, and sofas. Let's see what it does. These are on drafts also, So you have to, if you like one of them, you have to enhance them. So I'm just going to enhance this one, for example. Enhance this one as well while it's generating my other prompt that I gave it. And yeah, what we have typed, we only typed large hotel lobby with drinks, large chandelier, black chairs, and sofas. It did what exactly we wanted: large chandelier, black chair and sofa, hotel lobby, large space, curved walls. Those fluid details are visible already. Here the same. And after this depends on you, that how much you want to continue with that prompt or with that image. So guys, let's take a 10-minute break. After that, I'm going to explain you how did I achieve the specific images that I'm going to be trying to model with Cinema 4D, and then we're going to be switching to Cinema 4D. So let's see each other in 10 minutes. Thank you. Hello again. So I hope we have explained enough about the Midjourney and how we can build mood boards and how to mix images together, how to mix styles, how to edit them, and how to kind of teach this AI model in our preference and try to customize it. So what we have next, we have to translate some of these 3D sketches, 3D images into 3D models and even 3D sketches. So you can see we've achieved some very good results out of the box within minutes without actually trying so hard to achieve something. And this is not only about this style, this fluid interior Aqueous that we have in this webinar. This is also about any other field or major that you're working with and you're trying to design something creative and you want to use AI more guided rather than just using this general AI. So on the other hand, let me just present the other slideshow. Okay, I believe you guys can see it. Okay, so this is a mood board that I was using to create the recent images. I'm going next. These are some interior results that I've already done before, and we're aiming to this particular style in this webinar and how we can actually model them in Cinema 4D and how to render and retexture them and with Midjourney with the help of Corona Render. And you can see some different creative spaces here, and we're coming to the thing here, what it is. So this is like one of the most complicated scenes that I have modeled with Cinema 4D. You can see on the left side, I have the 3D concept generation with Midjourney. This is just an image, nothing more. And I was trying to actually model it for a project. It was a metaverse project in Dubai before, and this is like the 3D modeled version of it, Cinema 4D. Is quite challenging, and I can say the hardest part of modeling something that has been generated with AI is to imagine it correctly and use the right technique to model it in 3D space. Depending on your tool, depending on the gadgets that you have, this is the best way to do it. Of course, there are a lot of services about image to 3D model, one click and 3D model ready websites that may even pay you something a huge amount. But in terms of architecture, that doesn't really work. Since we have a camera within the space, and the camera is merged into the space, and it has surroundings around it. It's not an object. It's not a toy to give it to that AI service to build us a 3D model. So those services, fortunately or unfortunately, don't work right now. So we as 3D designers have still a bit of hope, and I believe that that will also continue. I don't think AI will get to the point where it's going to be able to do such thing like we do as 3D designers and 3D modelers. And of course, we're going to be needed in the future, not just put away by AI. And on the next side, you can see I've generated the 3D model and I've created the 3D model and I've rendered it in my own taste. I tried to give it a black style with some glossy textures and the glossy surfaces. And this is it. This is the final results. The previous image is AI, and this one is the 3D model that we made. So it was a complicated model, so I had to imagine it first and then try to build it. that's it from our PowerPoint. Because we're just gonna close the PowerPoint here. Okay, just gonna go back to my window. All right, let's go back to something that we have generated for this webinar. I want to go organize and just type in kitchen. Okay, so these are the variations I made for this class. So what I'm using as a prompt: kitchen design, curved ceiling, minimal form. This is what I've been using for it. And in all of these images, you can see the prompt is the same and nothing has changed. And I haven't even used any image prompt as my, you know, referring point. But still, you can see the results are very good. And I've used my global profile, and I've used two of my mood boards that I told you how to make similar mood boards. But please pay attention to whose work that you're using as a mood board, and please try to use your own generated, your own results as your mood boards. Of course, at the beginning steps of those baby steps on taking to generate mood boards, you can use external source images. But if it's more obvious, you can mention the artist or architect's name. And on the other side, after that, I completely suggest you to use your own generated images to feed to new mood boards, and then use those mood boards as your referring point to generate and improve your style and your work. So yeah, that's how it is. That's how it's gonna go. So the first image that we're going to be trying to model, I've already prepared the 3D model of this image here. This one is the first variation that we're going to be modeling, but I've got the second variation on the other side from my previous work. If we get the time, we're going to be working on that as well. But this image is going to be our most important image. So right now it's time to switch to Cinema 4D. I'm going to introduce a bit of Cinema 4D to you guys. I don't know how many of you guys have used Cinema 4D before. If you've been using Cinema 4D, or if you're experienced with cinema, please let me know. That would be also good. But I assume most of people are still trying to learn, and maybe they choose this webinar as an introduction to Cinema 4D to see what's happening with this program, how it works. So I'm just gonna assume that most people are beginners, and I have to introduce this program generally, and then we can go on introducing a bit of tools. I use 3ds and I switched to, okay, that's great. That's good. You know, most of these 3D tools are the same, especially the mesh-based tools. 3ds Max, Blender, these are mesh-based tools. These are not NURBS-based, I believe, and not that much parametric actually. Yeah, the same logic exactly. We have the same logic on it, all of them. So if you're familiar with one 3D software, you don't have to switch to another one. But if you also like the cinema, you can always take the switch and come to Cinema 4D community, because I believe it has a very intuitive space, and it's not hard to learn, and it has a very multiple flexible tools. All right, launching Cinema 4D, what we have here, we have a simple viewport, we have our objects menu, we have our attributes menu, and let me just check the timeline for a second. All right, So we have our different menus. Don't just get confused with these menus here. We don't use them most of the times. Most of the tools that in Cinema 4D are not being used in most cases. So don't worry about that. It's not a scary program. Uh, our first primitives are based in here. You can create cubes, cylinders, and the polygons. I'm not going to explain the attributes for now. We have the gizmo around the objects in the middle of the objects. We have capsule, any type of primitive that you might want to start working on. Platonic and sphere. I don't know. These are the basic tools. So you can just select them and press delete, or you can just highlight them from the objects menu and delete them. So how to navigate through the menu is, I believe, the most important thing in 3D software is the navigation. So we have these few little small buttons here. This one is for the pan. This one is for the zoom. This one is for rotation. And this one is for multiplying the viewport into top, right, front, and perspective view. So I'm just gonna go with the perspective view. And the shortcuts for these views are F1 for perspective view, F2 for top view, F3 right, F4 front view. I'm gonna go back with F1. You can also change that from here as well. And how to do that, how to do the navigation with the mouse, because obviously this is the slowest way to do it. We don't have to, use these buttons. So number one on your keyboard above the QWERTY side, number one, just hold the number one and drag your mouse. It's going to pan. Number two, it's going to zoom in and zoom out. Number three, it's going to rotate. Let's create a cube. Number three, it's going to orbit around the point that you have clicked. And this is the best navigation part of the Cinema 4D rather than Rhino or 3ds Max that I worked before. They don't actually rotate around like this, so whenever you just push the button 3 on your keyboard and select a point and drag your mouse, it's going to rotate around um, that specific point. So what we have here, after we've created a few objects, we have our attributes menus here. We can change the size, all right, X, Y, Z. We can change the segments. Obviously, the segments are not visible. So what we have to do, we have to just come over here and change the displaying mode, the shading mode, go out shading. We have quick shading. We have like quick shading lines and all these type of shading methods. But the most popular one is, I believe, this one, NB. NB, if you press NB shortcut on your keyboard, and NC for normal shading mode. So I'm gonna go with NB. And then we have like different tabs for objects here. We can change the name of the object, coordinates, like this, up, down, rotation, okay, scale, any type that you might want. And also fillet and any other option that your parametric object has. It's going to appear under this menu, so you have to, you have to see it and control it here from here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make this cube editable. For instance, I want to go with polygons and I want to generate an object based on polygons and make this object editable. So what I have to do, right click, I can go for connect objects and delete, or Control Z. I can come over here and make editable option. This is the option for making objects editable. So if I push on this or the C shortcut on my keyboard, you can see that the attributes are gone. Now the object is not parametric, it's a non-parametric object, so we have to customize it with polygons or points. And on the other side, we also have the modes, different modes for modeling in Cinema 4D. So here you can see a few options here. Points, you can select the point of any object that is editable. Edges, we can select the edges and move them out. The surface, the polygons, and then the object mode. Object mode selects actually the full object, and you can move out the entire object within your viewport easily. So that's it for now, and we also have these tools around here which I'm going to mention while I'm trying to build the concept. But one other thing that I want to mention, Shift V, if you hold down Shift and V buttons on your keyboard, it's going to go to your project settings. So you have the view, filter, back, any other options here. So in the back you can add pictures to your scene. Of course you have to be in the top view in order to add an image. For instance, if you want to model this image and you want to put it in Cinema 4D, you just have to push Shift V and come back and come here to the back tab and add an image that you want, maybe a plan reference or any blueprints that you might have, and we can just disable that and we can delete it from here. And then we go back to perspective. I'm not trying to use any shortcuts in order for you to better understand the whole thing. And we have the HUD and different options here. You can check that out as well. But these are simple options and simple stuff if you're familiar with 3D design. And on the other hand, I've also put a few shortcuts that I'm going to use. This is very important while using Cinema 4D. So for instance, if you're working with cinema and you're switching between the points, the edges, the surfaces, the polygons, and you're switching back and forth, you don't have the time to click on each of these each time that you want to switch. So what I've done, I've changed it from the Windows tab and from customization and command tab, command manager. So I've put for points Alt 1, Alt plus 1, so I can type in point. Alt plus number 1 is for point mode in my computer. So this is the best way to do it, I believe. And if you're using Cinema, you should do that as well. So since I'm gonna switch between them a bit fast while I'm trying to model our space, I want you to understand how I'm switching between those and do not get kind of confused about that. So we have edges. You can see Alt plus 2. All right, we have edges and we have surfaces, polygons. Polygons, Alt 3. And object modes, Alt 4. Let's type in. All right, where is it? Oh, it's mode. They've changed the name. Model. Alt 4. So if I go for Alt 1, points, Alt 2, edges, Alt 3, we've got the surface polygon selected. So what I have to do now, I'm gonna have to explain a bit of deformers. I'm gonna increase the number of segments on this cube, and these are the deformers tab here. So how we want to deform our object, we have to use one of these objects to deform our cube here, or any object, any other type of object that we have. For instance, if I want to twist my cube, I'm going to click on this twist and make this twist a child of my cube, and then I'm going to select the fit to parent option here, and then after that I can increase the value on this twist, or I can duplicate this cube here, delete this deformer and I don't know, do let's do let's do a wrap maybe. I know it's gonna be crazy, but let's do it. Okay, let's do a wrap. It's going to wrap the objects around the circle, and you know, you have to kind of play around with these tools to have the best understanding of them. You have to kind of play around with them, mess up a few objects, and then you will have a better understanding, and you will have the best vision to use the best technique to model something that you have in your mind. And on the other hand, one of the most important tools that we have is subdivision tool. If I click on this subdivision tool, yeah, we also have these options here that I'm going to use some of them and I'll explain. Subdivision tool, and for the green objects, for any green objects or layer that you have added to your objects panel, green ones should be a parent, okay? But the blue ones, the purple ones, have to be a child of that object in order to be effective. So if I have this subdivision here, the cube has to be its child. So I'm just going to drag it around here. And you can see the cube is subdivided, just like this. And from the subdivisions attributes menu, I can increase the number of subdivisions. Okay, you can see it's increased. And we have two types of subdivision, subdivision viewport and subdivision renderer. If you're planning to kind of connect objects and delete and make the subdivision editable, it's better to keep the both values the same, because if it's on 4 and if this one is on 1, if I make it editable, it's going to act as it is subdivided once and not 4 times. So you have to pay attention to that as well. Make editable. Then you can see this is the same again. All right. All right, I believe we have explained a bit about Cinema 4D and how the tools are being used here. And about the panel, I didn't actually change the panel or the layout of the Cinema 4D a lot. These are just Corona buttons here that I have added from the customization menu. You can just come over here and customize palettes and type in any other command that you want, and you can just put it on any palette that you want. So for instance, if I type in Corona, it's going to bring me all my Corona objects and tags, and if I want to, I can just drag them and add them to anywhere in my panel, and I can customize my panel. Just make sure to also kind of save the layout as somewhere in your computer, so you don't lose it later, and then you can just have the save as startup layout. So whenever you restart your Cinema 4D, it's going to come up with the customized layout that you have. All right, now let's try to model one of our references, the main reference. But before, I'm just going to introduce you to just a few tools here more. Like, let's create a few of these cubes. All right, and make this one, let's just make this one editable. Select these two and connect objects and delete. And on the left panel, you can see we have a few tools. So these are selection tools. Brush selection, they also have some attributes. The size of the brush, if whether it has to select visible parts only or invisible parts as well. So I'm just going to uncheck this so I can select anything just like this. All right. I have the rectangle selection tool. I can select objects or polygons or points like this, anything. Lasso selection tool and polygon selection tool, just like this. And if you're going to select polygons, you have to make sure that you're on the polygon mode. If you want to select model, then you have to be on the model mode. So right now I'm using this selection, this brush selection tool. If I increase the brush size, I can also hold down my middle mouse button to increase the brush size or decrease it, just like this, to select everything. And then yeah, just like this. And this is the move tool, this is the rotation tool. Here we've got the scale tool. You can scale objects up and down, just like this. And if you want to scale something that is not parametric relatively, you can just select the scale tool and click on any other place other than just these gizmos. So just click on anywhere and it's going to scale up and down relatively with the original ratio. And we have these place tools and all that. You can actually experiment with them later. That's it from the introduction. I believe that was a short and fast introduction to Cinema 4D, and I don't really want to bore you with these tools and buttons. They might seem a bit complicated, but they're not. So I'm gonna delete this and open the file that we already have modeled in Cinema. So let's see first. First, let's see our image. Sorry. Okay. Let's see the image first. Let me find it. Okay, in the file that I'm going to upload for you guys, there are actually a few folders. 3D modeling, Midjourney images. Let me just share my screen. You can see it better. Uh, you're gonna have 3D modeling, Midjourney images, modeling cases, mood board references, and this is the PowerPoint, which is not actually relative. So in the modeling cases, I have actually extracted some of the images that I've got from Midjourney for modeling. So these are actually good practices for modeling, especially if you're familiar with any other type of 3D modeling program. So you can be, trying to modeling these. But this is the image that we're going to be working today. So this is the kitchen model that we have. We have like a deformed surface here and the floor, and then we have the window, we have the curved ceiling, we have this type of creative shape of flowing like this, creating a U, and then we have the kitchen island, and we have the furniture. Of course, we're not going to model the furniture. You can use the furniture from any other place that you might actually buy or use pre-made 3D models. But I'm going to be focusing on the island and the whole spatial phase of this work, and I'm going to be modeling the space, not the furniture. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we have done. Let's change it to Cinema 4D. Let's focus on this. Okay, right now we're presenting the Sim 4D. Let's get out of the camera. By the way, all these files will be given to you as well. So what we have here, let me just hide the cameras. You can just double click on these dots to hide any objects in the viewport. I'm actually gonna hide this FFT box as well. So this is like this is the space we have from outside of the building. So we're not imagining the exterior right now. Our focus is to achieve that same angle, the same results with cinema. So we have to model the interior, and I'm actually aiming for precision this time in this case. So I'm not just getting inspired by this shape, and I was actually trying to model the exact form and shape in Cinema 4D rather than just getting inspired by it, because I believe you have to take the hard way to learn better and to achieve better. So what we have done is that if I hide this one, I was assuming that we have a space like this. We have a rectangular space, just like this from above. And I was assuming that in terms of architecture, we were maybe we are having some. Let me see if I can sketch something here. I was assuming that we're having an architecture plan of this space here, just like this. Maybe this is a large building, and this section of the building that I'm going to draw is like this. It's a bit angled and it has a bit of slope. And this is the exterior part. And this is the interior entrance. So we have to enter the space from inside the building. And this is the kitchen. This is the kitchen and maybe a living room connected to the kitchen. And we have other spaces on the other side of the buildings. So in the plan, we don't have the walls and the space that we're trying to imagine with Midjourney. The plan isn't like this. This isn't the the kitchen or the living room. This is not the plan that we're gonna be working with. Nothing complicated. So we have something like this. We have a almost like a rectangular shape like this. And what we're going to be doing, our focus is going to be not lose much space. Okay, this is the focus, because if I try to achieve the curve while losing this much of the space just because of that curve on the ceiling or maybe the wall, this isn't logical. This isn't architecturally accurate, I believe. We have to use the best method and use the best spacing methods and modeling methods to kind of organize the space. If we're going to lose the space, so we're gonna be losing something like this, but the whole space here, it has to be usable. So I'm not trying to lose that space for the sake of that geometry, for the sake of that curve that's happening inside. And it since it's only because beautiful, we don't have to lose that and sacrifice the space just for the beauty. It has to be functional and architecturally accurate as well. Let's delete that, and I can hide this shell. This is like a dome, and this is what we have as the 3D model of that space. So it's not detailed. I didn't actually put on very detailed, but I was focusing on the main shape and the main curves of the space that it was more important. We have the island. I can also hide the island. Here we have the windows. We have the windows here. We have the window bars, and it's like this. And if I just bring that again, I have a few of the variations done with Midjourney after retexturing. I'm just going to show you. This is the main angle. This is the main angle that we have. So if I enable everything and try to render it with Corona, can you guys see the Corona screen? Can you see the rendering tab right now, or it's not visible? I want to know. Okay, okay. Thank you. Maybe I can also change the viewing methods to a bit something else, maybe Windows. Just checking in. Alright, it's not possible to show a specific part of the screen, I believe. We have to always work with the windows. It wasn't like this before, I believe. Just want to present a part of my screen, but it's not quite possible since I just want to switch back and forth between the reference image and the 3D model. But that's okay, no problem. Okay, so this is the rendering. This is a very raw rendering we have with Corona. All right, let's just make it a bit warmer. And this is what I have achieved with the 3D modeling. I was going for fully accurate model. And if I stop this, I actually exported a very raw render like this and imported it to Midjourney edit, and I tried to retexture it. You're gonna see what happened. So I'm gonna go back to to screen, and I'll show you. This is the model, and this is the image. So you can see there are actually some slight differences, but since I was actually trying to keep the height of the ceiling under 600 centimeters, 6 meters, under 6 meters, I had to keep up with the logics rather than just trying to imitate the image. So in my opinion, we've tried to change it a bit, but the idea is the same. The curves are the same. The way of kind of shaping the space is the same here. And you can tell that it's the same space that we have modeled from the image. And on the other side, I actually tried using some retextures with this specific render. So I'm going to show you. I'm gonna go with this. Okay. Okay. And these are some retextures done with Midjourney. The same space, the same image has been given to the MJ, and these are the results. Okay, and I'll switch to the other file. I don't know why it's not showing me the images, but okay, it's loading apparently. I don't know, Midjourney has been very slow these 2 days. I don't know, something's wrong with their servers or something. Alright, this is the retextured image of the exact 3D model that we had. So we tried to render it with Midjourney. These are some different styles and different renderings I got. But the base, the structure is the same. So nothing from the shell, from the ceiling, or any of these curves has been changed. So it's everything is the same here. Okay, let's switch to 3D modeling. Let's see how we can model this thing. Let's close this. All right, let's break this down. So I'm just gonna save it as, and I'm gonna create a new file. Let's see, webinar live, right? And I'm gonna delete some of these cameras. Just gonna keep this one. Delete these cameras, and I'm gonna hide this window profiles, this glass, and the island. And then we have the room and the shell. Let's hide the shell, and we have the room. And of course, we have to hide the dome as well. So the room. So what I did was actually, I was imagining the surface from the ground, how the space is looking from top, how we would actually draw the plan of the space. And this was actually, these angles are actually matching the image that we had. So first of all, I had to create something like this. So I'm going to create a new file here, and I'm going to create a polygon in order to create that ceiling, that floor. And on the other side, I'm also going to create a figure in order to see the scale of my project, because I'm going to use relevant numbers, not very exact numbers. And this type of fluid design shapes, you can't really go for precise numbers. So you know, using a figure is the best way to do it. So you can just compare it with a normal human. You can see the spaces, how much big or how much it's small. Okay, I'm gonna make this polygon editable, or you know, I can just go for numbers like this, 800 centimeters, and maybe 1,000. A space like this. All right, and then I'm gonna make this polygon editable and go for point mode. It's obviously trying to achieve the same angle. Much thinner. This is almost like the space we have, and this is the first step that you have to take. And on the other side, I'm gonna try to select this edge of the polygon and just drag in this gizmo while holding control. I'm gonna go with 600 centimeters. And we're gonna see how much it's going up. I might also have to change this section here. So it's relative, you can just change it anyways, but you know, let's just bring it down 100 centimeters down. And I'm just going to select this polygon here, polygon mode, and select it, right click, and I'm gonna go with split. So now we have two objects. We have this one and we have this one. All right, this is just gonna be using it for a reference, not, you know, not the exact thing. I'm gonna name this one wall, and this one the floor. And then the main part of our job is to break down the shell. So how are we gonna break it down? So I have the shell here. I can even remove the room by hiding it. So this is what it looks like from outside. Okay. And I'm telling you again, our main focus right now is to achieve what we have inside. And in order to match the whole space or be geometrically accurate, you have to work on it. You have to put it in time and an effort to match these standards. So it shouldn't be actually looking this messy from outside. But since our goal is to achieve interior 3D right now, I prefer to focus on the inside of the building rather than outside. But just a small reminder that you have to consider the outside of the building as well. So what it is, the shell is actually doing, we have a thickness here. So it's actually adding thickness to this polygon over here. We have the subdivision surface. If I disable that, this is the raw model we have. This is very raw, and after we subdivide it, it gets smoother. We have like 2 levels of subdivision. But before that, we also have the cylinder, which is like this. This is the object we have. This is the normal object we have. All right. And this isn't also enough. We also used an FFD in order to kind of make the ceiling sloped. So we kind of gave it an angle to make it beautiful and make it match that image that we have. So I'm just going to disable this FFD as well. You can see this is the beginning point of our modeling, just like this. And this is turning to this after we finish everything. And on the other side, I also have this backup of this particular layer. You can see this is the main backup. I also make backups time to time in order to save what I had, in order to keep it if I mess it up at some point, so I can just come back and fix it later. So what it is, it's just a cylinder that I use to create this shape. And you can see the cylinder and its details, and everything is quite visible here. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be creating a cylinder here. And then I'm going to match the cylinder's orientation and go to top view, and gonna try to match the cylinder size with, let's just keep it at the center and remove this one. Just keep it at the entrance of the space like this. And then I'm gonna match the cylinder size, the depth of the cylinder. Just like this. And that's it. And if I go to my ground shading mode, I can see the segments here. I'm just gonna check it, how much the subdivisions we have in the cylinder. We have almost like the same amount. So what I have to do, I have to make the cylinder editable in order to delete the sides. I'm just gonna make it editable and go to point mode. And of course, we have to put the cylinder matching the size of our space here. So this is not connecting to the surface of the floor. So what I have to do, I have to enable this snap button, and from the modeling settings, I can come over here and enable the snap and the edge and polygon, or any other option that I want my gizmo to snap. I can even go for midpoints. Okay, it's now connecting to my floor. And by the way, I can just make it a little bit larger because I know the ceiling is going to be a bit high, just like this. And I can select, go for the point mode. You can select these points and delete them. I also don't need these caps, so I go to polygon mode, and there's actually a tool for selecting faces, and it is since I've always used shortcuts. I don't remember the name right now, but don't worry, I'm gonna find it for you. All right, it's in the select tab here, and it's Fong break selection. So if I select that, I can select different faces with their angles. I can, change the angle and limit the angle of selection. And the shortcut is UN. I'm going to select these two sides, holding shift, and I'm going to delete that. All right. And these subdivisions in the middle, I don't really need those. So I'm just going to go to edge mode. And again, I'm going to use a loop selection tool, which can be found with the UL shortcut. So you can just do UL and select them and right click and hit on dissolve. So it's just going to dissolve whatever we have here in terms of that. And then I can just come back to my top view and, try to give this angle to my object. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna, select these points and try to rotate them while I've selected them. I'm just trying to match the angle of the floor here. All right, now we have a starting point for our object. I'm just gonna rename this as a shell. And later on, you can see here what we have. We have like different subdivisions and different corners happening here. So we have to kind of keep up with that. And I'm just going to imitate it from here. I'm not even looking at the image right now. Let's just bring the image to my other screen. Maybe I can look at it later. But this is the first point that we're going to be working with. All right. I enable everything. Yeah, like this. This is the first point. If I disable the FFT, it's going to be like this. So FFT is making a lot change, but this is the beginning of the space that we're going to be working with. So let's just keep up with that. And I'm just going to match it with. So I'm going to select the edges here, and as we have in this point, I'm going to make a few subdivisions with cutting Actually, we have to do the cutting. Just looking at the space, we have the first curve and we have the second curve here. So I'm gonna right click and go with the plane cut, local, or we can even use loop cut. Right click, loop cut. Loop cut is the best, I believe. Let's create this a cut from here, a cut from here. All right, another one here and something here. Looking at the reference image that we have, this is the most important part. This is the largest curve we have, and then a few other cuts here as well. But I believe the best way to do this is actually do it one by one. So after we do one cut and we change the relative position, the other cut also changes, and we cut relatively. I'm gonna select this one, and by the way, we have to subdivide it first so we can have a better understanding of the subdivisions that we're making. Okay, subdivide it. This cut is selected, and also I'm gonna move it to the left a bit. All right, just like this. I'm making another subdivision here, and you can also have the attributes menu and kind of select the cuts. After that, you make a new one and disable the snap. All right, the second cut, done a second cut here. Move it around. You can see that the change is happening. All right, I'm gonna make another cut from here. Yeah, I can disable that for now. Another cut. The KL for loop cuts, shortcuts. This is very experimental, so you're seeing me doing it slowly. You have to consider the curve yourself, so you have to be doing it according to your image or your preference. It can be changed, but since I'm trying to achieve a bit of accuracy in the webinar live, it takes a bit of time. So let's see what we've done here. Another cut. Move the cut to the left. So we have this movement from right to left here in all the cuts. So we have the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, this one here, and the largest one. Okay, we have something like this going on here. Right, look at it. This is also not raw, obviously, because I've actually used different bevels for these edges. So I'm just trying to keep up with the general shape of this thing. So we have something like this right over here. And now our job is to make it a bit exaggerated with the subdivision on. So that's like the first curve that we have, and this is the second curve. And we're gonna have another curve here. It's this. All right. And here, I'm just gonna introduce a tool that we can kind of control the edges and the sharpness of the edges with subdivisions without actually adding more cuts. It's actually the weight tool. So the weight tool will actually help us to, you see here, if you want to make this cut sharper, let's imagine you're a 3D designer, you can see that we can add two cuts on the corners, and we can make that edge much more sharper. But it also adds up to the subdivisions that could be, overwhelming. So we want to have sharp edges with less polygons. So what we have to do, you can select the loop, loop selection, edge, and then just right click and let me see if the tool is here or not. Yeah, weight subdivision surface, MR. You can click on it and you don't have to, change the attributes or any type of things. You can just click on somewhere in the viewport and increase that or decrease that. So this is very important, very important. So considering that, we're gonna be selecting our our edges, and we're gonna be making them a bit sharp without adding more subdivision. Just a bit sharp, not completely, because as I can see in the image reference, it's not fully sharp. Just a bit. And here you can see also we have some sharpness happening in different areas. But after we've done this, after that we came across this level, you can just take it a little bit further. And make that one a bit bigger. I'm gonna add another cut here, somewhere around this. So this is not your normal step-by-step tutorial, so some of these things actually vary and they can be changed. So this is not, a step-by-step tutorial that you can follow up, obviously, but you can have the better understanding of sketching these kind of spaces in 3D and how they work. And if I want to add more detail, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna disable the subdivision surface. I'm gonna have this part of the shell here just a bit extruded, and maybe some like this, right? I can right click and select extrude, and I can extrude this edge, but I have to change the edge rotation to 90 degree, so it has to be following up with the 90 degree, or just simply select your edges, and with the gizmo selected, hold control and you can copy while it's connected, just like this. Okay, it's like that. So let's add more details. Let's select the loops, important loops that we have, and since we want to add more details to these surfaces and make it more defined, right click and select bevel. Just make sure that your subdivision is on 0 so we don't subdivide too much. Do a bit of beveling on each side. Well, this is not actually the copy of the model that we made, that I made a few days ago, but I'm gonna be trying to hit that full accuracy by the time, but let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have the first shell here, first curve. It's not like my favorite, but right, this is the first part, comes down, and then we've got these two lines happening here. One is extruded, and the other one is also should be extruded as well. It has to be coming out. There's one in the middle that I can select. Okay. And you can select these new lines and change their weight as well. We can just make them heavier or lighter, smoother or sharper, depending on what we want. But in this image, we don't have that much sharpness, so we can just leave it to that. And then at the end, we have this curve. So these will actually be gathering on that point, this specific point in the corner. So they are right now opened and very raw. And after we try to do FFT, you're gonna see that they're making much more difference. Change here. All right. Let's just keep that. It doesn't matter if it's fully curved or not. But here, I can remember that we have this type of rectangular part. This actually fits within a cube like this. We have some straight lines here, but we don't have those in the uh, reference we have here. So, I can just go back and fix it for a second. Just try to raise it a bit, and then so I'm gonna select all the edges at the bottom of the shape here. All right, and go for scale, turn off the snap. I'm going to scale them down to 0. You can hold the shift to quantize the number. Okay, up, and then while all the edges are selected, I can just hold down the mouse button and with the control selected. While you're holding the control, you can bring this down to to preserve that straight line here, and then you can raise it a bit higher, just like this. So yeah, this is pretty much for the starting point. Uh, it looks like the thing that we've done here full, but in terms of the windows, I believe we're gonna have to extrude this part a bit. Go to side view, select the enable axis, and enable the snap as well, and disable the axis. Go for scale. The scale is the shortcut for scale is T, and go back to perspective. Do something like this in order to make that section a bit tighter. And you can also make this one a bit sharp. So yeah, this is it from the polygonal modeling, the hard surface or smooth surface modeling we had. Uh, After this, as you can see, what we've done, we've added an FFT box to our shape, and we've tried to manipulate this whole shape with this FFT box to match those angles and the sloped ceiling. But since we haven't done some of the weight stuff here, I'm just gonna fix it like this. Right. And you can select the point also, change the weight as well. Do the same thing for the other side. Right click, weight. All right. And I can take all the day to tweak these edges and try to control the curves and make it more precise. But since we're on live, I have to make it a bit quicker. But again, we're trying to work on the precision. So let's go for FFT. What is FFT? So it's just a box with some points. So whenever we move the points, it moves the actual object and polygons. So let me just disable the subdivision surface, come over here to the shell. And let's add this FFT. All right, shell. Add the FFT as a child of the shell. And then you can see the FFT here. And then you have to push this button, fit to parent, so it gets larger and it contains all of the object which is inside of the FFT. And after pushing this fit to parent button, I prefer to make it a bit larger than my actual object to fit even better. And you can see in the settings we have 3 to 6 grid points. So I'm just going to go for 3, 2, and again 3. I'm not going to go for 6 at this point, but let's try. Let's try and go ahead and do that. But it's better to stick with 2 or 3 for now, since we're going to do the general shape. So later, after I select the FFT, I can go to point mode, just like this. And the thing about this is that I don't want the FFT to apply to this section of my object. So I have to make this one a bit smaller and, bring it back a little. So this part of my object is extruded from the FFT. So I'm going to select this FFT and select point mode. And you can see here, it's a bit complicated here that what we've done, but I'll try to explain. Select it and try to give it the angle that we had there. So we have less angle here. Also, let's just make it bigger. Doesn't matter. I'll fix that later. So we're giving it some angles from these points. Okay, so we're getting that angle. And then I'm gonna go with the other part. These 3 points, select them, bring them back, just like this. All right. And then the third part, like this. I'm gonna do something like that. And you can see we're getting close to what we have. And then I'm gonna select the points at the bottom. And if I want to make it even a bit complicated, I can add more grid points here. So here, we're just trying to make these points somehow gather at the same position. You can see this is the point that all of this curve is starting. So this is the point everything gets started, and after that, then we have the distances happening. So we have to move out these points, these grid points, to make that distance happen, just like this. So we have the first curve, the second, third, fourth, and the fourth one has to be a bit larger. So I'm going to do this manually with the model. All right. Go back to FFT, and I'm going to tweak it. And if you can see, the ceiling is higher than what we expect. You can just select the upper points, come back to perspective view. You can also do this with this button here, and bring it down like this. That's the power of FFT boxes. And this is very sloped, so I'm gonna do this just like this. And after that, you can also continue on trying to, adding more cuts to your curve, and you can control them with the shell layer that you have here. So I'm gonna do something like this, disable that actually, and enable again. So it's just tweaking. Depends on you. That's how much you want to work on. Bring it closer, or make them smoother with the weight subdivision tool. Okay. All right. Just like this. And the thing about the bottom of the top of the ceiling is that you can see I've also tried to manipulate the points up or down. So I'm gonna try to do that here as well. You know, how much time you spend on customizing it, the better it will be. And by the way, if you have encountered some complexity in your 50 box and you want to turn back, you can always come over here and hit reset in order to get it back. But since we've been doing good so far, not bad. So I'm not going to do that, but you can just keep that in mind as well. And let's just make this a bit larger since that part of the room is not visible. And after this, you have to decide about the camera angle that you're going to render out of your 3D model and all that. And on the other side, I believe, putting a camera, a Corona camera in your scene and trying to decrease its focal length will actually help that you can actually see everything much better. And if we're going to control some of your FFTs, it's better this way. All right, let's have a look at the side part. Make them a bit closer. And I can also have another grid point on the y-axis here that I can actually change the height of the ceiling or the form, how it gets deformed and all that. This is, you see, this is the best tool to do it. We built a simple shape and then we're tweaking it. So a shape like this it's important to Unreal to make some optimization or activate. No, I don't think so. This is not a complicated shape. If I kind of turn it into a polygon, we have 3,157 polygons in this subdivision surface. I don't think it's needed to enable nanite on Unreal Engine for this shape. This is a simple light shape. For polygons over a million, I believe, at least a million subdivisions, you have to enable nanite. But if you have a decent setup in your computer, you don't have to, worry about the optimization or anything else in Unreal. So yeah, guys, I'm not gonna spend much time on this shape here, but I do want to spend some time to make it even perfect. But the other model, I actually worked a few hours to perfect it and make it accurate. But since we also have the 3D model available, the one that is more accurate, I'm also going to upload it for you. So I'm not going to, focus too much on the tweaking of this shape here in order to achieve 100% accuracy, since we have an accurate 3D model that is going to be given to you and I don't want to bore you. I'm going to go for this. There's actually an opening in the wall here. So how to create that opening is that simply I'm going to create a polygon hole here, but first I'm going to give it a cut. All right, I've cut this part and I'm going to delete this polygon here, just like this, and enable everything. Now we have to find it. Okay, this is the first point. So this is the first point. Let's just disable everything. So select these 2 points from the corners of this opening in order to have that opening detail. I mean, this detail I'm talking about. This one. This one. Select these 2 points at the bottom of the rectangle and enable subdivision. Right click, weight subdivision. Okay. And then again, come over here, select this point. Try to make it look like the image that we have. I'm just trying to match it like this. Okay, it's not that. Oh, I can't just eyeball it. Yeah, pretty much close to what we have. And then we can just this FFT looks obviously messy. I'm gonna disable this here. I'm not disabling, I'm actually hiding it by double clicking and turning it this red. And then next thing that I really want to do is that I'm gonna match this floor obviously with my space, and this section of the curve, I believe it has to be a bit close to the camera. Yeah, this is good. I like it. All right. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to model the windows here. I'm just gonna give you a few techniques to do it easily, and then we'll switch to other adjustments. I'm just gonna save it as well. Let's just make it webinar live, or it's not that. Okay. 2. So we want to have this part windowed. So we want some windows happening here. I select this section and make it like this. It's gonna be a bit long, but let's see if we can extrude that part of the window with the FFT. Oh, it's not doing like this. All right. Right, it's changed everything, but let's see if that's okay. We can continue, or no, it's not. Yeah, anyways, I can make a copy out of this. All right. I made a copy and connect objects and delete. And I can select this side and just change its scale, T for scale, shortcut. I can just build something like this, cut it, or even just copy it like this. Loop selection, polygon, split. That's what we don't need. And we can use it as a point of window. But since our angle here is straight up, we have a 90-degree angle, or where is it? All right. It's fixing very good over the window, but since this is angled, so we're going to do angled window, no problem. That's another challenge, but that's okay. But one thing to mention is that if I want to give some thickness to this layer here, if it's just not a shell, not a simple shell, I'm going to select this menu and bring in thickened, and then make this subdivision surface a child of this thickening. And then from its settings, I can go for positioning, change the thickening position, and change the thickness. I can go for 20 centimeters, for instance, like this. But 10 is good. We don't want to overdo that. That depends on you, obviously. And this is what our shape looks like so far. This is what we're dealing with right now. Okay, let's do the window. So for the window, I have to copy this whole thicken. Let's hide this old thicken and let's just make it editable and can select everything and connect objects and delete. And then what I need these edges here. UL for loop selection. This edge maybe. Okay. But we can actually do that before thicken. So disable thicken. We only need this subdivision surface. Connect objects and delete. You can come over here, UL, select this, right click and edge to spline. You can do that. And then you can take out this spline and turn it into a shape. I'm going to delete the old shell, bring back the thicker one. And with this one, I can actually select this close spline option here. And by the way, I can match my floor with the windows. All right, we've got the spline. Make sure that this close spline is enabled, and then bring in the extrude and put the shell spline into inside the extrude, make it child, and then you can just make the extrude like a thickness of a glass, like 0.5 centimeters. And you can see from inside it's closed. Bring down the font. All right. And then you can even make this one editable. Okay, since we have it, I can make some cuts on it in order to make those bars. So right click and let's create plane cuts. All right, YZ. Just make sure that it's on a regular slice and increase the number of slices, something like 4. Okay, and then you can select these slices, and again right click edge to spline. Since we've got the splines, name this glass, and let's just make it bars. Now click on here on the subdivision menu and add in a sweep. Add the bars to inside the sweep, and then you can add a rectangle from the spline menu here. Just click on the rectangle and put this rectangle inside of the sweep. I know it's going to be messy, but don't worry about that. Rectangle width, and let's just change it to, I don't know, 10 by 10 centimeters. Maybe less than that. Okay. Those are the windows that we created. Those are the windows. That's from that. And then for the island, I'm just gonna create a cube. This is sketch modeling. This is not very precise modeling. Obviously, we do it more precisely with projects. But since we're trying to achieve other angles of the same AI image, this is fine. It doesn't really matter. Make it editable. All right, something like this. You can match the height with here. Let's add a bit more detail. KL loop cut here and here and here. Select loop selection. Right click, extrude, and just extrude it. Just you have to consider the angle from here, maximum angle, and all that. But since our object is not aligned correctly, it's trying to extrude the faces a bit angled, but I'm gonna fix that. And then I'm gonna do here, extrude inner, and that's it from the island. We can even make the stone section a bit thicker, like this. So yeah, guys, this is from the modeling of the space we had in that image. But you can also, come back and change this long tag here, in order to fix those smoothness, or you want to make it look sharp or smooth. It depends on you. So that's it for the modeling. I believe you can even change the gizmo here, get a bit smaller. Okay, that's it from the modeling section. Let's give it a 10-minute break, and then after 10 minutes, I'm gonna be coming back, and I'll do a simple Corona lighting setup for you guys on the other scene. Of course, I just want to work on the other scene, this one, because this one's more accurate, obviously, and this is the one that you might be actually training. But since this was actually technical and showing you some for these tools to model similar stuff, I try to also kind of work on the accuracy on this model. But since this one is much more accurate, I'm going to work on this one. We're going to do a simple lighting scene and render a raw image with Corona, and then I'm going to export that image into Midjourney, and I'll show you how we can actually retexture raw images, and how even we can add furniture to those images with Midjourney's edit tools. So thank you if you're online and you're watching. So see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, guys, we're back. Let's continue this. Let's continue. Let's go back to Cinema 4D. Okay. So what we have here, I'm just gonna, close this one, not save it, and reopen it. Okay, this is the original file. So I'm gonna delete all the cameras first. Delete the sky. And also delete the backup layer maybe. Or just leave it because I'm gonna save it for you. And we have this cube that we don't need. I don't know why did I create that. Maybe as a reference point. We have the windows, profiles, and all that. So in terms of modeling, everything here is discussed. So I've mentioned everything for you guys. So now what I only done was adding this dome. It's just a simple cylinder. Obviously, I've cut the bottom part of it, and then I extruded these edges to the down, try to extend it to show you a bit of demonstration of how much space that we might be losing on such areas. Like, let me just show you. This is the area that we're losing, the ceiling here. Even if it's an even ceiling, this is the much space that we're losing and we're sacrificing for that curved design. But if we tend to somehow kind of change the outer form to something like this, the outer surface, to change it something like this would be the space. This would be the only space that we were going to lose. So, it's just better to have that in mind as well. Okay. So now, if I hide this one and go inside, this is what we have. And you can see these corners of my screen are inside, like this is the main section of the render that we have, like main cadro, main rectangle, okay, the screen. And you can change that, the ratio of the image that you're about to render. You can change that through the settings from here, render settings. And you can come here to output, and you can change the film aspect, the render region actually that I'm talking about, the region that we're trying to render out of this large viewport. You can change the film aspect to something matching your image reference that you were modeling. So mine was 0.8, obviously. You can just change that to something else. You can see it here, 0.8. And then it's better to actually change your original renderer to Corona and close it. And then you're gonna use your Corona cameras. So first of all, I'm gonna deploy a camera here, and with this camera, I'm going to be trying to match that perspective that was happening in my original image. And I can even enable that dome in order to make these corners darker and to kind of control the light. So this is our Corona camera. And later on, what I'm planning to do, my focus point is going to be this table, this island here. So I'm gonna go to object, focus object, select this, and select my island. All right, so this is now focused on my island. Even though that I might not be using this Corona tag and change this f-stop or sensor width or shutter speed, But if you're planning to make something focused and kind of unfocus the background images and focus on a particular object, it's better to enable that. But we're not going to do this in here. So what later, I can just come over here and just click on the interactive renderer. You can see it's a dark screen, yes, because we don't have any lights. So I'm gonna get out of the camera. I'm gonna have my camera saved here. This is my camera. That's my camera in there in that corner. I've placed it. I'm gonna have the camera held, and then for the base lighting, I'm gonna have this Corona sky. Just add it to your scene, and don't touch it. You don't have to work with the intensity or do anything else, change anything in that position. So you just have to enable it, and it's there. And right after that, you can come over here, and since you have the window and you don't have the material, let me delete that material. If you render again, you're gonna see dark space, just a bit of light, sneaking through the corners, not that much. So you have to give a material to this glass layer here. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna have to enable this material menu and come down to the Corona and legacy material. I'm gonna name it glass, and double click on it, enable reflection, refraction, and disable the diffuse since we don't need it. And in the reflection, I can even increase the amount of reflection that we're getting out of that glass. So yeah, this is just a simple glass. We're not going to use any texture or anything about that. Let's just add this material to this glass layer, so you can see it's black now. And another material that I want to create is a white material. Let's just write white glossy. All right, enable reflection, decrease the reflection a bit, IOR, just leave it be, and decrease the glossiness a little bit more. And then I can apply this on my shell and my room, since it's the ground, it's the floor. So if I go back to my camera and render again, this time you're going to be able to see everything. You're going to see the reflections on the floor, and you're going to see the light coming through the window from the glasses. So let's just make this a bit more blurred. I don't want that much glossiness. Let's just make it a bit rough. The ground shouldn't be that much glossy. Okay. And this is your render buffer, right? In Corona, I've put the button from here, interactive rendering. I've changed its position, its icon from here and to here. So there's a palette in there I'm using. I have a bunch of simple stuff for Corona, like this is the interactive render, this is VFB, Corona sun, Corona sky, light, camera, and everything. So since I'm using this interactive renderer, I have to come over here and do some adjustments. So I have to increase a bit of simple exposure, and of course the scene is too cold in my opinion. Let's make it a bit neutral, and even I can add a bit of contrast to my surfaces in order to make it look a bit more sharp. And since we don't have any colors or any objects, we can just leave it like this. And the other thing that I want to do, I want to add some light. So Corona, and I can come over here and corona light. I can add a rectangular light, change the direction. So I can see if in the original image, we almost have like a light coming through our room from this angle. This angle right here. I can come back, render. You can see that we have a shadow here, much more exaggerated, like this. And you know, we can change its rotation angle to see how it works. I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's a simple lighting technique. And I'm gonna decrease its intensity to 20 and increase its directionality. So we have a bit sharp points in the lighting, maybe like 20%. And this is it, guys. This is like a small lighting setup and the Corona. And after this, I can go ahead and add some LED lights to some surfaces, of course. But I'm gonna leave that to Midjourney. I wanna have a bit of demonstration on rendering with Midjourney. But before that, let me show you another example that I modeled really quickly using one of the references. And then after that, I can save this image. Let me just save it. I have a few of these renders taken from this model. And after you've modeled it, since the object is real, you can hit render again. Just go ahead and change your camera angles. So this way you can tell your client that this is a real model. This is doable, not just AI. You see these angles, different angles, how it looks from the other side of the image, and that part at the end of the room, that will be just another space in our building, I assume. But you know, this is the beauty of modeling. You know, everything that you do is like real, and it's just not AI. You can just move around your camera, keep the consistency, everything happening in real life. So yeah, let's stop that. I saved it already. I saved a few of those shots, and I can show you a few of these shots here. See, this is the main render. This is the second angle, third angle, fourth angle, and this belongs to the other one. So the other example that I wanted to show you is this image, this particular image from my previous work. All right, my entire screen is being shared. So yeah, this was the example that I was trying to imagine. So you can see we have a circular area, like a circle plan, a circle room, and then we have the curved ceiling. That ceiling actually rises above, and then we have the chandelier coming down. This side is a bit exaggerated, and it's, you know, a bit manipulated. AI does that, but normally the chandeliers would be coming down from the middle. you know, from where its roots are not visible. So consider that, remember this image. I'm just gonna put it here, okay? And this is the shape that I modeled. So let's just show you around. So what we have a simple, let me just hide this section. We have a simple circle, okay? And then we have the disc extruded, and this is the shape that I tried building, like very simply just sketching, imagining how things would work in 3D. And I created this section, this entrance part that you would just actually enter the room, and then I subdivided it. I tried to kind of imitate this curve here around this corner on the left side, and I achieved that curve here. It's all about angles as well, where you actually put your camera, that matters the most. And then I added another disc above, and I tried, subdividing it first. This is the disc. This is the disc actually. It doesn't have any special stuff. It's just a disc that I have actually subdivided a few times, and I changed the points position, and then I added the subdivision, and this side of it has to be actually rising above, just like this. So if I go back, this is almost like the space that we have, and you can change the angles from here, from any point that you want. And I've also got a few other renders from that 3D model as well. So these are some of those shapes, okay, which I'm going to demonstrate in a second in Midjourney. But before jumping into Midjourney, I'm just gonna show you a simple prompt that I generate most of the times using ChatGPT, because we've missed about the ChatGPT and how it can actually help us improve our prompts and our workflow. I'm just gonna close these, just keep this one here since my screen is being shared. So what I do usually the most, you don't even have to get the plus for ChatGPT, because the free version will work, will do the job for you, I believe. So what I do most of the times is that I tell ChatGPT to give me some interior ideas with fluid shapes. Let's just do that. Give me 3 ideas for interior concept design with fluid shapes, but defined character. All right. Now it's just going to give me some ideas. All right, depending on your personalization on ChatGPT, whatever it's writing. Okay, and you have any ideas like the neural canopy launch. We have another one, liquid horizon workspace. We have tectonic flow launch. Now let's say turn one of these ideas into a hotel lobby imagination. Let's just write something like this. Okay, it's gonna write some stuff, and you'll see. After it's finished, now this is the important section. after this ChatGPT has an idea of that's what you're trying to build and do, it has a basic understanding of your prompt. Now you can prepare it to give it something to get something good out of it. So I'm just gonna write me consistent series of prompts for this hotel lobby. Try to explain the shape and the form first. Go from large scale sections to details in the prompt. You know, this is very important. When you're writing a prompt, first you have to explain the large stuff that's happening in your image. So if you have a, let's say, a twisted room, a room that is a twisted cube, maybe for instance, or has sloped walls or a curved ceiling or a large window, you have to tell that first to ChatGPT or even Midjourney. And this is the thing. After that, you're gonna go for details and colors, materials, and then after that, you're gonna go for lighting and how the image quality should be like. You can write 4K quality, you can write realistic image like rendered with V-Ray, Corona, or any other tool that you have in your mind, or even the model of the camera that you're aiming for. Okay, and for materials, orange, black, and white. Materials with golden edges. Okay, and describe the lighting. It's a bright light coming from the windows in white color, and try to, this is the most important part, make the prompt short and minimal while being functional. Now it's gonna write me a series of prompts for Midjourney. Futuristic hotel lobby interior with flowing organic architecture, continuous neural-like canopy connecting walls and ceiling, large open atrium, sculptural circulation paths, bright daylight flooding from tall windows, orange, black, and white palette with golden edges, minimalistic yet impressive atmosphere. Now let's just copy this. Change my screen for a second. Okay, now we're sharing. Now, with the mood boards that we've created, I'm gonna use that prompt to achieve something like that. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it comes out. Okay, it got a bit complicated. I I don't want this type of renders uh in my personal view. So I'm just gonna write ChatGPT to make it more minimal and less details explained. So it has given me a few prompts, and based on these prompts, I'm gonna see what's happening. Reception zone, main structure, lounge area. I'm gonna paste it like this is the way that you explain ChatGPT to write you Midjourney prompts. And since it knows about the details that you can't really think of, sometimes it gives you really nice results while keeping that consistency about the prompts. And you can make a series of these images for yourself to use them in a project. So like this is the reception, this is the launch part, this is the interior section. These are actually good, by the way. I like these. So yeah, I can enhance this one, and I can enhance this reception section. I can go for this, and maybe even this one. Yeah, that was just a small recap for the GPT part that we mentioned. Let me just. All right, let's switch to edit. Go to new. One thing that you should remember about the edit, you need to have fast hours in order to get the edits done properly because somehow Midjourney's edit section is working really slow in relax mode. So you have to at least have a few hours of fast mode, fast hours. But if you don't worry about that. But it's just going to take overwhelming time. So you have to take it. You have to tolerate that. If you're okay with it, if you're good with that, no problem. So we're gonna be working with fast right now, and I'm gonna be uploading some of the images. The last image that we rendered is gonna upload, and I wrote a minimal prompt here: kitchen design, curved ceiling, minimal form, and I'm gonna add furniture, sofas, chairs. Let's see how it does. And of course, change the edit to retexture. And since I want the objects to be added to my scene, I'm going to increase the stylization, maybe 500. And then we can hit enter 2 times and see what happens. But since I also have the image, the exact image of the same space I've done with Midjourney, I'm going to upload that as the image prompt of the edit section here so it can actually render more likely to my original image, um, the outcome from the Midjourney. I'm going to do a few other variations. So yeah, these are some results out of the box. You can see that it didn't change our structure. It holds what we have. The model is intact. But since we want to add more details, I added a prompt, an image prompt, so it's going to make it look like our image. So after a few variations, you can choose one of the favorite ones, like this one, and add a few other variations to see what happens. And after that, I'm gonna explain how you can add custom furniture or any custom object that you have in your mind to your scene with the edit section here, not the retexture. Okay, it's trying to avoid adding extra objects since it wants to hold that structure, hold on to that structure. It adds small irrelevant chairs and sofas to the scene, but since let's say I like this one, I can go to edit tab and just type and just highlight this area and write and sofas and chairs and then the same prompt. Furniture, sofas, chairs. I can delete the image prompt, do again. Yeah, you can see it added a few furniture with the edit. This relative to our space. I'm good with these. It even added a small, detail to the ground, extruded the ground a bit. I like these. These are nice. These are nice variations, in my opinion. And you can just choose one of these and go for it. Let's see which one is the best. Obviously, I think this one's the best. So I'm gonna upscale it to gallery and do a new one from the other angle. Let's find another angle. All right, this is one of those other angles that I had. Let's type in fluid shape, interior, design, minimalistic, LED lights, curved ceiling, furniture, and the space. And what else we can say? White carpets. Well, you can see it generates quite interesting results. I wasn't thinking that it could be used as this way, this corner around here, but of course it didn't keep with the scale of my space. But I like these details on the ceiling since we're doing the edit also with the personalized button here. So it's trying to keep up with our mood board and our references that we gave it to. So these are other angles that you can showcase with your original 3D model. And within seconds, we already got good results. Let's say I really liked one of these, which was, I really like this one. This one's good. Upscale it to gallery. And let's do another one. Let's do one from here. And let's turn off the personalization. Let's see what happens with this. Let's do it without the mood boards. Let's see where it leads, actually. It can be also quite interesting, but not relevant to what we did before. The colors are not matching, and it went a bit too far, I believe. This is also another way of using the exact space. But let's just turn on the mood boards. See, these are very good. These are very interesting. Very good. And another one. Let's take the one from the other image that we had. Let's write a new prompt. Living room space with a piano in, and let's do gray and orange color furniture, LED lights. large chandelier. I'm gonna go high with the stylization. See, it's giving us different results. It's trying to imagine this space differently, but you have to find the best option to go with. By the way, the angle that I rendered the image is not good actually. You have to also fix the angle, but you can see here that it actually adds the furniture and it tries to kind of implement new stuff into our scene without actually touching the circular room or the detail on the ceiling. So it depends on you which options you go with, and I can just upscale one of these guys and go for it. Look, this one looks good, but the furniture doesn't really match. Let's go with this one. Who cares? Yeah, coming back to our gallery, that what we have upscaled so far. So these are the results of the full 3D modeling and lighting with Corona and using some prompt crafting, small prompt crafting and mood boards and images and Midjourney retexture. These are the results of that process, and I think this is one of the best ways to render your images way faster than traditional ways of presenting your work. Also for idea generation and kind of brainstorming with AI. Yeah, I believe that's it, guys. I'm also gonna be giving you the images and the renders that we have created in this process. All the 3D files, images, the mood board images, they'll be also all uploaded, and the link will be given after the webinar. Yeah, I hope that you guys liked the process, and I hope that you guys learned something, and I hope you liked it. If you got thank you, you're welcome. If you got any questions, we're here. I think for 10 minutes, for maybe more. If you got any questions, we can go for further. Any type of questions about Cinema 4D, about the process, AI, Midjourney, or mood boards, I'm here to answer. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Erfan. It was awesome. Really great results. Really nice looking stuff as usual. Um, yeah, if no one has any questions, we can end the webinar. And thank you everyone who came and attended for the whole thing. And if you do anything from this webinar, make sure that you uh, post it and tag us and Irfan, and so we can share it. And we'd love to see um, the kind of stuff that you're making with these workflows. So I've dropped Irfan's Instagram there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, afterwards, once the recording is ready, you'll get an email to view it. So, thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank
It
you.
was really good to be a part of the design moving community, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone.
That's great. Thank you. See you.
All right, then. See you later. Have
Bye
a
bye.
great day. Bye.